And the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, 'cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
Give us a call, Steve.
He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
You tried to end a game and a tie in the United States. Heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
Friggin' tie. The hell is that? What's a tie? Tie. Hey, everybody. Welcome to that Top 10 Taco Tuesday in the Doghouse. Tie. A tie. Really? A tie. With a country the size of Rhode Island. A tie. Tonight is round 4 of the college football poll. And the top 4, shaky as they were on Saturday, should remain intact. So I'm giving you mine right off the top of the show a little bit later, with notes on who has a path to the Final Four and what that path might be. But first, Chef Grizz is in the back. He's preparing some tacos for Pedro's birthday tonight at the Furniture Factory, where Wes and Steve will be from 5 to 7. Now, personally, I'd like to try a breakfast taco. I don't think I've had this breakfast taco yet. I think maybe my wife has made something like this, with a scrambled egg, bacon, and cheese in a soft taco shell. Now, she's made this in a pita bread shell for me. But I don't think I've had a breakfast taco like that before. I mean, I could certainly get down with that. Now, by the way, we have big news coming up on Monday. Big news, all right? And I'm just going to tell you this about that, all right? It's big news. Well, I can't play all of that, though, because I'm not giving it all to you. I'm just giving you a little bit. I'm giving you a little teaser here. Big news coming up on Monday with the return, and I want you to notice before you head into your Thanksgiving holiday, the return of the 97.7 ESPN, The Zone Listener Christmas Party, presented by Talent Heating and Air. We have not been able to do this for the last 2 years. Remember when we had a great party down there at what's the name of the place there? The Mexican restaurant there. All right. And we had the pool tournament. And we did all of that down there. That was a great time. We haven't been able to do it since then. Chips and salsa. We haven't done it since then. So save the date. Wednesday, December 14th, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock p.m. More details to come on Monday. All right? I'm not telling you to just get it on your calendar. Details to follow next week. Do not press me or the rest of the crew for any more additional info on any of this stuff. We could withstand waterboarding if we needed to on this. Don't try to waterboard Grizz for information. We're not talking. Just save the date. Just save the date, okay? Don't go on the blitz and try to ask the young little, the Captain Cool and the Bandy Man. Don't ask those guys. They're not talking. Save the date. What's the date? Wednesday, December 14th, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. More details to come next week. But you need to save the date. Now, we're also going to be bringing you an episode of Beat the Big Dog today with the Turkey Fecta on deck for tomorrow because we're off Thursday and Friday. So off of my 2 and 4 week and Grizz the Greek's 5 and 1 week, I am now bringing up the rear at 36 and 30 against the spread. Grizz has a 1-game lead on me at 37 and 29, while the listeners continue to lead at 38 and 28 after North Dakota Dave got me last week. So he's going to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Now, look, we'll have more prizes after Beat the Big Dog continues all the way through the Super Bowl. So there's time here. But the guys that have beaten me so far will get tickets to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. Then when you beat me after the bowl game, then there'll be more prizes for you. So, we'll do this through December this way. Same thing with the trifecta and the grand trifecta, and the VIP package to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl on New Year's Eve at 11 o'clock. We'll do that right up until like a week before. And then we cut it off, and then we start a new trifecta with a new grand prize. Those of you that are newbies to the show. Phone lines are open, 256-576-4977. You can text the show, 732-9TA show, 732-982-7469. Great way to communicate with us. My Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We are on the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. You can watch the show there. You can watch it on Twitch and YouTube at WZZN TV. Get our apps, the Zone app, the Blitz app. So you can have links to Zone 2 and Zone 3 and Zone 4 as well, our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. So we got a lot of programming. We got everything. Pretty much everything. Coming up in the first hour of the show, Chris Lee from VandySports.com is in. Chris is a longtime friend. We actually did Vandy pregame together back in the heady James Franklin years when Vandy was winning like 9 games and dominating UT. Did they beat UT like 3 years in a row? I know they've split the last 6 years. They didn't beat UT 3 years in a row. All I know is they were beating them back then. UT was down, Vandy was up. Now what happens? I mean, back-to-back wins for Vandy, and they get the Wounded Vols in Nashville without Hendon Hooker off of one of the worst losses in team history. And Tennessee is still a 14-point favorite there, 13.5, 14-point favorite there. And now we're going to head to the Plains with Justin Ferguson of the Auburn Observer. The latest developments out there. Of course, we'll get his take on the Iron Bowl, but more importantly, there was a report flying around the interwebs last night that Lane Kiffin was resigning after the Egg Bowl on Friday and taking the Auburn job. Kiffin said, "It's news to me." Now, when a coach is lying about a future job, his lips are moving. The guy with the story is a TV reporter in Mississippi that covers both teams, John Sokoloff. Sokoloff is not some Yahoo internet troll. I don't mean Yahoo, the exclamation point. I mean just some Yahoo. He's not some Yahoo internet troll. I mean, the dude has his sources, and he felt comfortable rolling this out there, which set off a firestorm. And to be honest, I'm not even sure what to believe on Twitter right now. I mean, I love what Elon Musk is trying to do there, and I'm certainly a free speech guy. But if we are to take the platform seriously, then there has to be some real vetting of the people who try to break news there, right? I mean, I have no idea what a blue checkmark means anymore. What do they mean? You can buy a checkmark for $8 a month, and you just buy it, but don't they still vet you as somebody that is authentic? Because there's all kinds of crap floating around that thing now. So we'll get into that. The responses to that tweet are precious. People say, I don't know one Auburn fan that wants Lane Kiffin as their head coach. Really? Is that true? Not one Auburn fan that wants Lane Kiffin as the coach? All I know is that Twitter thing absolutely blew up last night with that deal. Absolutely went crazy with that take last night. As for the playoff committee top 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's the Tuesday top 10.
Look, just give them the holiday week off already, all right? I mean, everything can change this weekend dramatically. The Ohio State-Michigan game, the Clemson-South Carolina game, the Notre Dame-USC game. Those three games right there have enormous implications. But as of today, the top four remain intact, right? I mean, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. Although all four look shaky at best, what do you do with them? You can't do anything with them. TCU's the biggest fraud of this group. But what are you going to do with them? They're undefeated. What are you going to do? You got to leave them in there. I am good with USC at number 5 right now, waiting for shoes to drop. Where this gets awfully confusing is how do we handle LSU, Tennessee, Clemson, and Alabama? Let's just throw Oregon in the 10-hole. All right, let's just go, okay, Oregon, you can have the 10-hole. We just throw Oregon in the 10-hole. Utah was there, we give it to Oregon now. Although I wouldn't fight you if you said Penn State should be in the 10-hole. But let's just put Oregon in the 10-hole for now. I don't care about the 10-hole. Now, Clemson is the one-loss team here. But, man, they just got destroyed by Notre Dame. Destroyed. Who else on that list gets whacked like that? And, yes, the Domers are playing well now. And who knows, maybe they'll take out USC in L.A. But we can't blow off the fact that they lost to Marshall and Stanford at home. We can't. You can't get blown up by a team that lost to Marshall and Stanford at home. But they're the one-loss team. Alabama lost. Alabama and LSU both lost to Tennessee. Alabama and LSU both lost to Tennessee. And Tennessee got destroyed by South Carolina and manhandled by Georgia. But they beat LSU and Alabama. Now, the LSU loss was in Baton Rouge, and it was in convincing manner. I mean, Tennessee just went in there and stomped the mud hole in them. Boom. While the Tide lost in Knoxville on the final play of the game after missing a makeable field goal of their own. But wait, Alabama got beat by LSU. So you see the issue with these four? LSU beat Alabama, last play of the game. Tennessee beat Alabama, last play of the game. LSU got the crap kicked out of them by UT. UT got the crap kicked out of them by Carolina. I mean, the crap kicked out of them. You see the issue with these four teams? See the problem here? Look, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. After USC at 5, I got to put Alabama at 6. Clemson 7, LSU 8, and Tennessee 9. And LSU and Tennessee beat Alabama, as ridiculous as that may sound. But you know what? 3 of these 4 teams were dominated in losses. I mean, beat the snot out of them in losses. Where Alabama lost on the final play twice. I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves. Facts are stubborn things. I know, oh, you're such a homer. You did the homer. Roll Tide. Where am I lying here? Clemson got destroyed by Notre Dame. LSU got destroyed by Tennessee. Tennessee got destroyed by Carolina and Georgia. What did Alabama do? They went and lost 2 games on the last play of the game. Of these 4 teams, I'm not saying Alabama should be in a playoff. They have no path. But of those 4 teams, honestly, over there in that little glass booth with the slanted ceiling, playing the players that matter, the stacks of wax, and manning the phones, and keeping us on the air, and enjoying himself the World Cup. It's Soccer Grizz.
If you tried to end a game in a tie in the United States, heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
A tie, Grizz. A friggin' tie. Okay? A tie against this little Wales country, this little tiny country that's got 3 million people in it. Look, we have 350 million people And I know we have all the other great sports that we invented, but we have 350 million people. They have 3 million people. Do you think that we could come up with 11 guys that could beat their 11 guys? Because their 11 guys are being pulled out of 3 million people. Our 11 guys are being pulled out of 350 million people. Can we win the damn game?
Looks like we got the Brits in round 1. We already kicked their asses in WW2.
We did.
Cheerio, let's do it again.
Yeah,
we
did.
I don't understand it either. It doesn't make sense. I get it because we care so much about other sports and everything like that we just really, it just seems like even our top athletes in soccer they're the top athletes in the United States, but when they go out of the country.
Not our soccer guys. They're the top soccer.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. They're top soccer guys in the United States, but when they go out,
athletes are playing football and basketball.
When they go out of the country, they're just another guy. I mean, yeah, Pulisic plays on Chelsea. You can talk about some of the other guys. McKennie plays on Juventus. I mean, these are guys that are on big clubs.
350 million people. They're not all playing football, baseball, and basketball and hockey. I mean, come on. We have 350 million dudes. We can't come up with 11 that can beat a country that's got 3 million people? I know they don't do anything over there. All 3 million people want to play soccer. I get that. Okay, they got 3 million people that want to play soccer. We have 350 million people. Can we find 11? Can we just find 11?
It's just like when you see some high schools, man, where it's just like you've got 3,000 kids or 2,000 kids at your school, and you can't get 50 people on the football team. You can't get, you know what I mean? You can't get 30 people to show up for a basketball tryout. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. And yeah, that's what stinks about America when it comes to soccer. Greeny was talking about it today, saying that he didn't even know the game was going on, and then all of a sudden he said he saw USA playing. And I'm like, we don't care.
Well, think about it, Chris. Think about it. We invented football, right? Which is a much better sport, right? We picked the ball up, started throwing it around, and we invented a better game. We took whatever the soccer was, and we turned it into rugby, and then we turned it into football.
Soccer, yeah.
All right, so we invented football. We invented baseball.
Yeah.
Okay? And you could say all you want about the action in baseball. There's no action in baseball compared to soccer. Why in soccer? All you're doing is watching people run around, and they score 2 goals. All right? And that's the whole thing. Whereas baseball, the average baseball game, 7, 8, 9 runs, even though they're scratching. What's the difference between a guy standing on a pitcher mound scratching his cup and a guy jogging around over there on the park? All right? So we invented a better game in baseball. We invented basketball. Right? Yeah. I mean, you want a constant action game, lots of action, scoring, athleticism. We invented basketball. In hockey, they invented that. Our 51st state, we call that Canada, right? They invented hockey.
Not really,
right? But, okay, all right, so maybe not. But they invented the hockey.
We lost many wars trying to get Canada.
That's true. They invented the hockey up there, but the majority of the greatest hockey league in the world is played in America, right?
Yeah.
Right. So we have 3 sports that we invented and one that we stole in hockey, and we have the best sports. Right? So really, the soccer, that's nice, and I get it that these other places want to play that. These underdeveloped countries like England and France and Germany and places like this that they want. And by the way, this Argentina thing getting dumped. They hadn't lost a game in 3 years. They hadn't lost a match of their last 36 matches. Now, how many? Who knows? Out of those last 36 matches, they might have had 6 wins, 30 ties. You know what I mean? Because they have these ties all the time.
If you tried to end a game in a tie
it's
in
all
the
about
United
goal
States,
differential.
Heck, that might be listed in Revelations as the cause for the apocalypse.
No. They're probably 6-30 during that time, but who knows? They haven't been beaten in 36 matches. Anyway, Saudi Arabia beats them. I blew them out. I just absolutely blew them out 2-1.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to be a blowout in the soccer. And 2-1. They blew them out. Saudi Arabia was plus 1,800. They were plus 1,800 in that game, which meant a $100 bill will get you 1,800 back. Now, let me put that in perspective and something that we understand.
Yeah.
Carolina was plus 1,250 to beat Tennessee, straight up. Okay, they were a 20-point dog. They were plus 1,250 to beat. So Carolina wasn't as big as Saudi Arabia was plus 1,800. Auburn right now is plus 1,200 to win the Iron Bowl. I don't mean cover the 20 and 29, 22 and a half, whatever we're going to use. They are plus 1,200 or so to win the Iron Bowl. So Saudi Arabia beating Argentina in the World Cup was plus 1,800. So that's even bigger than if Auburn, if Auburn were to beat Alabama, that would be the sign of the apocalypse now, right? I mean, it's in the Revelations is the sign. But that's how big an upset that was.
And it comes as like some of the biggest, upsets when, North Korea beat Italy. And I think it was, it wasn't, I can't remember the year, but anyway, but not
nobody else does either.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
But in 1950, the United States beat England 1-0, and they were 500 to 1.
1950.
Yeah, 1950. They were 500 to 1 odds coming into that game. They fielded a dishwasher, a hearse driver, and a postman, and they came out and won 1-0.
500 to 1.
Yeah, they came out and won 1-0
So that would
against
be
England.
That's plus 5,000.
Yeah.
Well, no. They said this is the biggest upset in the history of the World Cup, 92 years.
Well, this is
the biggest upset in the history of the World Cup. They said in 92 years of World Cup play.
This one that came from the World Cup, and this was a report that came in. It was reported last year. This was actually
that they were 500 to 1.
Yeah, 500 to 1, 500 to 1 to win. When they did, the press even thought it was a misprint. The press thought it was a misprint and actually said that England won 10 to 1.
That sounds high. All right, give me the Philip here for a minute. Philip, welcome in. How are you?
Dude, why are you talking about soccer? Are you serious? Are you serious? 2 days before the greatest holiday in the history of holidays? For which there would not be a holiday without the Dallas Cowboys. They created Thanksgiving just like there would not be an NFL without the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, my God. Who the hell cares?
The what do you call it there? The Lions were playing on Thanksgiving Day long before the Cowboys were even invented.
I know that. But who made it a thing? The Dallas Cowboys. That's who made it a thing. Yeah, somebody was doing it before, but that doesn't matter. What is that? That's nothing.
The Cowboys are responsible for,
American way.
Somebody created the Model A, and then somebody created the Mustang. I mean, that's the difference. How about this Cowboys? I'm still hammered over last Sunday. Good googly moogly. What a Super Bowl this is going to be. This is going to be the biggest beat. This is going to be a bigger beatdown than what we did to the Bills. Good.
Wait a minute. You're talking about soccer. Who cares about the Dallas Cowboys? We got the Iron Bowl this week.
There would not be America without the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh.
America would not exist.
They would have a team.
We would have given up. It gave our fighting men something to fight for. The Dallas Cowboys. God's team.
No, America's team. Oh, the hole in the, they closed up that hole in the roof.
No, we still got it. We still got it. God's
They never. When was the last time they played with that thing open? You know,
it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. All right, that's a good job by you, Philip.
Well. Wait a minute. What's the when you? Because I had people in. I couldn't get in Friday. Had people in.
Yeah.
You're doing the trifecta thing on Wednesday, correct?
Tomorrow, yeah. Tomorrow we're doing the turkey fecta. Tomorrow's the turkey fecta.
The day before the greatest holiday ever.
I'll have it in there. I'll have the Cowboys and the Giants will be in the turkey fecta. They'll be in there.
Woo!
Where did you get that?
Hey, Tom.
What?
Seriously, Tom.
Yeah.
How about this Cowboys? How about this Cowboys?
That's the Philip. Good job by you, Philip. That's hilarious, Chris. Where did you get that? Where did you get that image that you put up there? Philip would get a kick out of that. That is funny as hell. The Philip, sad Cowboys fan. That is funny as hell.
I was bored one day and I was like, it was the day he was complaining. He was crying after they lost, and I think I found it on the internet. Just found.
You need to use that every time.
That's Pepe the Frog.
We need to come up with images for all of the chronic callers when they come on. You know what I mean? The legends. For when the legends come on, you get an image.
Take a picture of the picture
we
of
could
Wolverine
do it.
Dan.
We had we had that
like
picture
a digital
of Wolverine
picture.
Dan. We got that one.
I think someone has it.
No,
It might
use the
be-
picture of Wolverine Dan with Wolverine Ginger from 100 years ago.
I'm gonna see if I can use it in the printer.
Or some sad Wolverine fan picture. But I had a lot of these guys have they had caller cards. I'm thinking about bringing back the caller cards. Remember the caller card? Oh no, you weren't with me then.
No, I wasn't with you.
We had trading cards. We had trading cards
I
for
remember you
listeners.
talking about that. We've talked about this before, yeah.
Yes. We have trading cards for listeners. We had them for all our great listeners, and they had on the back of the card it had all their stats and details and stuff. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, Chris Lee will join us next from VandySports.com right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again, proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention parents with a child diagnosed with autism or severe ADHD. A recent congressional study found dangerously high levels of toxic heavy metals like mercury, lead, and arsenic in many popular baby food brands. Brands such as Gerber, Plum Organics, Beech-Nut, Walmart, and more. Some contain toxic metals 200 times the maximum safe levels set by the FDA. Heavy metals in baby food are known to be severe neurotoxins, and exposure to them at a young age can cause lifelong brain damage and neurodevelopmental disorders like autism and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. If you fed baby food to your child and they were later diagnosed with autism, autism spectrum disorders, or ADHD, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call today for your free consultation. 800-715-2037. Don't wait. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-715-2037. That's 800-715-2037. Again, 800-715-2037.
The holidays are about spending time with family and friends. Brooks & Collier offers unique home, garden, and grilling gifts for everyone. Create the perfect gathering space when you save 25% on a new dining set. Save up to $400 on a new Traeger grill. The season of wonder is also the season for Brooks & Collier. Lucy and Ivy, they're hoping to be on the nice list this year. Spreading holiday cheer for over 75 years. 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
YKTA wants you to join their team. YKTA is currently adding machine maintenance and die maintenance positions to their fast-growing company. YKTA has new improved work schedules with built-in days off. Pay range is $25 to $33 based on experience and additional shift differential. And YKTA has opportunities for increased pay above top range through advanced skills training. Apply today at yktal.com/careers. YKTA is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. For all your service needs, it's Woody Anderson Ford. They can take care of you and do a tremendous job doing it as well. Whether you have a Ford or not, Woody Anderson Ford is the only answer for all your service needs. And don't forget the certified gold pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson Ford as well. You'll find them. The inventory is growing. All you got to do is go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you could shop them there, or just go over to the beautiful showroom and check it out as well. Jordan and Sparkman at Woody Anderson Ford. They just do a great job over there. Love those guys. Love those guys. And, Bobby White and his whole crew, they just do such a tremendous job over there. All right, joining us now, a guy who does a great job as well at VandySports.com, my old friend Chris Lee. Chris, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, doing great. Good afternoon.
Chris joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Chris and I did... Chris and I were actually doing Vanderbilt pregame stuff back in the day, the halcyon days, back during the James Franklin days. And I got to tell you, Chris, winning back-to-back games against Kentucky and Florida, this has got to be the most excitement that has kind of been created, or the most hope that has been created coming late in the season here since those days, I would say, no?
I'd say that's about right. I mean, Derek Hastings did beat Tennessee 3 times, and it was those were always moments that the fan base cherishes. But yeah, I think in context, I'd put it this way: there's that, but there's also the feeling that he is now creating a belief he can win here. Because Thom, I'll tell you, no disrespect to the guys I cover, they do not have what most teams in the league have on the line of scrimmage. They don't have it in certain skill positions. For him to have his team to 5 wins at this point, I think is a miracle.
Yeah, I mean it is a tremendous job, and yeah, that was the Derek Mason thing. He beat Tennessee. I mean, that was the one thing about Derek Mason. He would beat Tennessee. I think what is it now in the last 6? They've split the last 6 overall. Is that about right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it is something like that. Is this something that is sustainable? Because they go into this game here at home against a Tennessee team that doesn't have Hendon Hooker, that last week the whole world got to see, their defense exposed even further. So there are some things there, obviously, that can work against Tennessee. I would think that regardless of how this goes, outside of getting blown out, I don't see any reason or any way that Vandy gets blown out in this game. This has got to set Clark Lee up for an off season that gives him some great opportunities, don't you think?
Well, I mean, there are ways they get blown out. There are also ways they win the game. I think one thing I'd like to know is what Tennessee team shows up. Because if it's the one that showed up in Columbia, Vanderbilt's got a great shot. If it's the one that showed up against pretty much everybody else, then it's probably a different story. But yeah, I mean, he's got them. I think what's more impressive about this is not just that he's gotten them to 2 wins, or 2 SEC wins, but he's done it at a time when, they took it on the chin, back to back to back. Georgia, right. Alabama, Ole Miss. And it's hard to not get beaten down. Then they had a shot to win 2 games against South Carolina, Missouri that I think we all said, if there's 2 winnable games on the schedule, it's that. They lost those. And you're just thinking at this point, They had the Dan Jackson situation, which I don't really want to get into, but it was a distraction. They're sitting there a couple weeks ago at 3-6, and they're double-digit underdogs the next two games. You're just thinking, if they haven't done it by now, there's almost no way, and then he does it. And now you look up and they're 14-point underdogs to Tennessee, which nobody in their right mind would have thought a couple weeks ago. It's happened so fast, it's almost hard to get your head around. But I think it's a big testament to them and keeping his team believing. What he has said all year, you watch every press conference, he has said consistently, we are not really worried about our outcomes as much as we are processes, because if we do the things we need to do, we'll get to where we need to be. He has stuck to that at a time where it's very hard to, at a time where the fans have criticized it for it. And it's paid dividends. And I think you look at their situation next year, and I'm stepping ahead of you a little bit. I know this is there, the transfer portal and everything, but A, his team has stayed together, which shows me that's some form of belief for sure. And B, just about every single key player on this team is eligible to come back next year. I think it's going to be a very interesting ride on Saturday to see where this goes, and also to see what happens after this one's over.
Was he in any trouble? I mean, I know it's been pretty quick, and he's a Vandy guy. Was he? So there was no. I mean, if they had dropped those games, it didn't look good doing it, and Kentucky beats them, and Florida comes in and beats them like they have, since 1988. I mean, my God, George Bush, the senior, was the president the last time they beat Florida at home. But you don't feel like there was any. This isn't something where it kind of saved them a little bit.
No, not at all. I mean, look, when a coach at Vanderbilt gets fired, it's always a bad situation because they've got a lot of patience with coaches, and they usually give a guy 5 or 6 years no matter what. And so if a coach is getting fired, the next guy's walking into a bad situation. This was worse than anyone people have told me in decades, and I believe it because I know a little bit of the stuff that went on at the end of the Eric Mason era, and if you want to see how bad it is, go look at APR today. There's been a lot of talk about an APR bowl at 5 and 7, a bowl bid because of that. They're 57 in that. When's the last time Vandy was 57 in the APR? I mean, they're always leading the country in that.
Right.
That tells you how bad it got under Derek Mason, how much it deteriorated. The culture was awful here. He had to rebuild every bit of that, and his chancellor knew it, his AD knew it. If they were 3-8 heading into this game, I'd be saying the same thing. He was not in any trouble.
What? The APR, because I thought for sure that maybe Vandy would be one of those 5 and 7 teams if it ends up being that way.
No.
The funny thing is that you say that about Derek Mason and how it had all deteriorated. How the hell did he beat Tennessee 3 times in 5 years or whatever he was there, 6 years?
Well, Tennessee was a mess in its own right, and that had something to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, and if you want to know why the Derek Mason era failed and why it succeeded at the last, I think the short answer, because it amazes me too. He had a lot of leaders, Kyle Shermer, Bruno Reagan, those guys on his last team or two. He had seniors who could provide the leadership that I would say he probably was not providing. And the minute those guys left the room, it was over.
Yeah. Chris Lee with us from VandySports.com. Everything you need to know about all Vandy sports is right there at VandySports.com. Talk to me a little bit more about Mike Wright, who, comes in there and gets this win. They didn't ask him to do too much in this football game, but he has been efficient.
Yeah, he's a 10.8 in the 100-meter guy. That's a nightmare because you've got to account for him. I think he plays well off Ray Davis. I mean, I think what they're going to want to do is run the ball and run the clock. And when you've got those two guys, you can do it. Now, I will say there's a possibility A.J. Swan could play, I guess. I'm just trying to cover my bases here. I don't think that's going to happen because he's been concussed twice. But, yeah, I mean, Mike is not – he's not a guy that's going to, go 35 of 45 for 420 and beat you. But he is a guy who can make a big pass at certain points. He's made a lot of big plays this season, either with his feet or with his arm. I think Mike has got a strong belief in himself, a charismatic leader. I think that serves him well. He's led them to 2 wins in a row. He's made big plays at just the right time. I think they're in pretty good shape at quarterback for the foreseeable future between him and A.J. Swan.
I mean, Swan, if he's healthy, he's the guy, right? I mean, he's the future. You would think that, he had shown quite a bit. Is there any concern about him having, these concussions tend to be, cumulative? Is there any concern for his future, or do they feel like, he'd be good to go, in the spring?
What I've heard, and I'm not reporting, but I think he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. But he couldn't. But you don't think he's going this week?
I'm not reporting he's not, but I would be surprised if he is.
Yeah. Defensively, they gave up a lot of yards through the air to Florida, but they really held down the running game. And now they get this Joe Milton deal in here. It's a totally different look maybe for Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's going to change things too dramatically, but, man, if they could force Joe Milton into a passing game, we know Joe Milton could be very erratic. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm, but it's a scatter arm. You know what I mean? He can throw it anywhere. Is there a way that they can hold down? Is that one of the keys, is to hold Tennessee down in terms of their running game and force Milton to beat them through the air?
I think so. I think it feels like a carbon copy of last week with Anthony Richardson, and sometimes it hit and sometimes it didn't. But, yeah, I mean, the problem is that Tennessee's receiving core is so good. They've had trouble holding out explosive pass plays. Just about everybody since the Y game has popped one or two on them. I don't know if anybody in the country has given up more pass plays over 50 yards than Vandy this year. I'd have to research it, but it would be hard to imagine. That's what Tennessee can still do, even with Milton. He's not Hendon Hooker, I get that, but Richardson threw for 400 on them a week ago. I think you're concerned if you're Vandy. You know Tennessee's going to get some big plays. You just hope that you can control enough of the clock in running the ball and keeping that offense off the field. And you hope that he throws a couple errantly. You get a pick or two or a string of throws that forces some punts. I think that's your likely scenario because Tennessee, even with Milton at quarterback, is going to pop some big pass plays on them. I think the key is just to get some stops because you're going to have to get those at some point. I still think they're dangerous throwing the ball.
How does Tennessee look in the recruiting, for next year? They live with 3 stars. There was a time when they were getting some bigger kids, some 4-star kids, and so on. But how are they standing right now as far as their recruiting goes?
Probably like last year. It's not going to be a top 25 class, I don't think, but there's a lot to be decided between now and then. The thing about them, they're not looking at star ratings as much as they're looking at measurables. If you come in and an NFL linebacker looks like this and runs like that, then that's what they're looking for. Now, the difference in the guys they're getting and the guys at the top of the league get is the ones that are at the top of the league that go to Alabama and Georgia, which they're not realistically going to get, are going to be ready-made at 18. Their guys, maybe 3 or 4 years from now are going to be more along the lines of that type of player when they're juniors or seniors. That's always been their path. So I don't know what the ratings will look like, but I do know that any kid they sign, they'll run them through their filters to make sure that it's NFL caliber athleticism. And if he signs with Vanderbilt, you can pretty much guess that he's going to hit those parameters.
Chris Lee with us, VandySports.com. All right, finally, I mean, they really got clipped for $250,000 for, I called it yesterday, strolled the field. They didn't really rush the field. They kind of strolled the field, and there really wasn't a lot of people out there on the field. I mean, at the end of a game like that, we know how it is when the visiting crowd takes over the joint. But, I mean, is there an appeal process or anything? How could you get clipped for $250,000 for strolling the field?
That's a great question. I think you put it really well. I mean, the fans were coming down single file. I was on the field videoing some of it. It was the most non-threatening thing I've ever seen. Look, I guess if you're the league, you got to draw the line somewhere because, people could say, well, Vandy had guys on the field and so-and-so did, and you didn't find Vandy. You found, well, okay, fine. Use some common sense. Look at the film for yourself.
Yeah. It wasn't a dangerous situation. Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, this is a fan base that hasn't had wins in a while. You're kind of in shock of what to do, and in my mind, there should have been a little bit of grace built in, but I guess that's not the way to live.
Yeah. All right. Always appreciate Chris Lee. Does a tremendous job covering Vandy, everything Vandy. Chris, I appreciate you, man. Great stuff.
Anytime. Thank you, Tom.
Chris, they strolled the field. They just kind of limped out onto the field. You know what I mean? There was the crowd was 70% Florida fans. It's kind of this weekend it's gonna be a sea of orange.
Yeah, when LSU beat Alabama, that place looked dirty. I mean, it looked like people from all over the place, right?
Trampled and stuff.
Vandy was like you could see every bit of the other half of the field. There was plenty of green
between the people. They were social distancing their stroll. I mean, they were coming on, and there was like nobody around them anywhere.
He said they were single file down.
Everyone single file. They were. They were single file coming out of the thing. Hey, let's go down on the field. What happened? Hey, we won. We just won a game. I think we're supposed to go on the field now. Is what we're supposed to do. All right, let's go. I'll give you a hand down.
Even the people next door at the hotel probably left their nice little seats that they can see from the balcony and probably were able to walk into the stadium and onto the field.
I swear to you, they would not have. There is not enough Vandy fans at a Vandy game at home.
Yeah,
there's not enough Vandy fans to cover the entirety of the field.
Yeah,
you couldn't cover the entirety of the field because the other. This week there will be if that stadium holds 40,000, there'll be 30,000. UT fans in there and 10,000 Vandy fans.
2009, I watched Vandy play Auburn. Vandy beat Auburn, and it was majority Auburn fans.
And I don't remember in 2000 and whatever that year was, 2012, when I took Captain Cool when he was 12 years old.
Yeah,
and I took him 2012 when he was 12 years old. I took him to the Vandy game, and they pounded the heck out of UT. They beat him like 41-13 or something like that, whatever that score was. 41-18?
Yeah.
They didn't rush the field that day because we're all UT fans. Nobody rushed the field. I mean, it was like, hey.
It's like when Alabama goes there, it's a sea of red, sea of crimson.
Oh, no doubt.
It's not that
so
far.
So my first year in Nashville, stop me if I'm lying, 2007, did Alabama play at Vandy in 2007? 2006 or 2007, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was at Vandy, 24-10.
All right, 24-10, 2007, right?
7.
All right, 2007. So that's my first year living in Nashville, being on the air in Nashville. They had billboards up that summer, and they were promoting season tickets for $120. You could get season tickets for the 2007 Vanderbilt season.
That's what I'm talking about.
For $120. And it was Alabama fans buying them. Alabama fans bought all the season tickets for Vanderbilt. They sold all the other games off for like $5 a piece because you can't go to an Alabama game and sit in the lower bowl for $120. I mean, it was the season ticket for Vandy. And Vandy Stadium is smaller than the lower bowl at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah.
So you can't go see your Tide and sit that close to the Tide. So people were just, I'm telling you, 80% of the season tickets for Vanderbilt, you couldn't buy the Alabama game individually. 80% of the season tickets were bought by Alabama fans who then sold off the other 5 games for like $5 each. Gave them away, whatever. I mean, Vandy doesn't play any cupcake games, do they? I mean, they're kind of like the cupcake. But in any event. All right, we'll get a break. Come back, wrap up hour number 1 next. Set you up for the Friday. Set you up for Beat the Big Dog. That's right. We have an episode of Beat the Big Dog coming up here in just minutes, and we'll tell you what caller to be to play that right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your Your shingles, we can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphrey's Bar and Grill. Humphrey's is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphrey's Bar and Grill.
Sometimes the best things in life are right in front of you. When's the last time you took time to enjoy everything Montesano State Park has to offer? So close to home, just 5 miles from downtown Huntsville, Montesano State Park sits on over 2,000 acres with spectacular vistas from atop Montesano Mountain. And right now is a great time to visit and enjoy all the fall colors. In just a few months, spring will arrive with native azaleas in bloom along the 20 miles of hiking trails and 14 miles of biking trails. And no matter when you visit, you can enjoy time in one of 11 stone cabins with working fireplaces, built in 1930 by the Civilian Conservation Corps. These historic cabins all sit on a bluff line that offers beautiful views from their screened-in porches. Prefer a more primitive camping experience? Montesano State Park offers improved and primitive camping year-round. If you're ready to take some time to slow down and get away, log on alapark.com and make your reservation now. That's alapark.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Christmas is approaching fast. This year, don't wait until it's too late to find the perfect gift. Hurry into Bob Wallace Appliance to take advantage of our Black Friday sale, now through November 30th. We have the brands you know and trust, like Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, and GE. This holiday season, we want to thank you for buying local. Visit us in Huntsville, Florence, Coleman, and at BobWallaceAppliance.com. That's BobWallaceAppliance.com.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
November in Alabama means one thing.
Alabama and this SEC football arch rival meet in the Iron Bowl.
The Iron Bowl.
What is Arkansas? No.
Listen for full coverage of the Iron Bowl right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Correct response, what is Auburn?
Grumpy wants to know if we're ever going to talk soccer again. And we're supposed to let him know so that he can put on his CPAP and catch a nap. Well, you guys really hate it, don't you? I just like to bitch about it. They don't even want to hear me bitch about it, Chris.
See, even if
like, not only do they want to not know about it,
yeah.
You know, the best thing in the world is that we're off on Friday when the U.S. is playing England.
Yeah.
They don't even want to know about it.
No.
They don't even want to hear about it.
I don't care. I don't care. Even if the U.S. was good, I don't think anybody would care. Like,
No, I bet we would. You know why? You know why I bet we would? Do you remember something called the America's Cup, the sailing thing?
Yeah.
We won that thing for 150 years. Like, for 150 years in a row, we won that thing. And because we won it for 150 years in a row, we always cared about it. It was like on ESPN and everything. But we stopped winning it. I don't know how long ago it was. We stopped winning it. And now, like New Zealand or somebody else that's not us wins it, we don't care anymore. We don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's not on TV anymore. We don't care. We do like things we
I remember
win.
seeing that on TV a lot, too. Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be on all the time because Dennis Conner, I think, was the guy's name. And we used to win that thing. And now we don't win it anymore. So, Junkyard Babe is in this Big Dog Productions studios.
Hi, Alan.
She can't hear you.
Well,
and
Alan.
she can't see you. She's waving. She can't hear you or see you. She's putting a Christmas tree up. Want me to turn the camera on her? I can turn the camera on her.
You can.
She says, "Happy birthday to you." I heard that it was your birthday today.
Woo! Today.
Or a month ago, whenever that was.
Friday.
Last Friday?
Yes.
A week ago today.
The 18th.
No, today's not Friday. It feels like it's Friday.
It was Friday.
It feels like it's Friday. Your birthday's right between my parents. My mom's is November 16th and my dad is November 20th. She's setting up Christmas trees. We'll have 7 Christmas trees in the house this year.
At least she didn't do it before Thanksgiving.
Well, she's saying no. This is the first time she's done it before Thanksgiving. We've never had the Christmas trees
This
up.
is like right around it. I would say like at least she didn't do it in like early November.
No, but this is the earliest we've ever done, and Thanksgiving is early this year. All right, it's time to play Beat the Big Dog next. We'll make it easy. First one in plays Beat the Big Dog when we return right after this. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. This just in. The Phillies gave President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski a 3-year extension. This past season, his second with the team. The Phillies ended a 10-year playoff drought and captured the NL pennant. A massive upset today at the World Cup. Saudi Arabia rallied, beat Argentina and Lionel Messi 2-1. It was the first loss in 36 matches for Argentina, one of the favorites to win the tournament. NFL, could a quarterback change be coming for the Jets in Week 12? Coach Robert Saleh not tipping his hand if Zach Wilson will remain the starter against the Bears on Sunday. He told reporters they're keeping everything on the table the next couple of days. Wilson, taken second overall by New York in the 2021 NFL Draft, has played poorly in 2 of his last 3 games, 9 of 22 for 77 yards in the 10-3 loss to the Patriots, and showed minimal accountability afterwards.
November in Alabama means one thing.
Alabama and this SEC football arch rival meet in the Iron Bowl.
The Iron Bowl.
What is Arkansas? Nope.
Listen for full coverage of the Iron Bowl right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Correct response, what is Auburn?
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. Guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby.
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back, hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. You got a chance to play Beat the Big Dog right now. I have 5 college games and 1 NFL game in there. So if you want to play Beat the Big Dog, you haven't played yet this year, this is your chance to do it. 256-576-4977. If you beat me, and I did lose last week, if you beat me, you get tickets to the TransPerfect Music City Bowl in Nashville coming up on New Year's Eve. That game will take place at 11 o'clock on New Year's Eve, so it gives you plenty of time for your New Year's reveling and all of that kind of good stuff. I am now 36-30 on the season. I'm 4-5-1 against you guys as North Dakota Dave joined Wolverine Joe, Dale, Floyd, and Gunnersville Chris to take my tickets. All right, so you guys are the guys that are going so far to this deal. You are part of the 5 guys that have beaten me, and if anybody else can beat me, you can get the tickets. Now, Grizz was 5-1 last week, which is amazing. I mean, because I think he had a 1-5 or a 1-6 or it's 0-6 or something like that earlier in the season, but he bounced back and had a huge day and is now 37-29. And Grizz, not for nothing. Yeah. I don't want to. I'm not trying to corrupt the youth of America here.
Yeah.
But with that,
I think we have a contestant.
What that would mean is that you would have 3,700 to the good, and then you would have 2,900 minus the VIG, 2,900 and 290 to the bad. All right, so 2,900 plus 290 equals 3,190. So you would have 37. So Grizz, you would have a $510 profit right now.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
If you had bet $100 on every game you've picked, okay?
Yeah.
You would have a $510 profit on the season. So that's good.
About. Yeah. No, I was 4-2 because I picked the Packers, I picked Tennessee, I picked UK, Auburn, Arkansas, and the Cowboys. I went 4-2. But you were right on the overall, 37-29. I didn't go
37-29. So you were 4-2.
Yeah, I went 5-1 the week before, I believe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I went 3-3 the week before that.
So if you wanted to, I'm not revealing my picks or Grizz's picks unless you want to get in and play. So if you want to get in and play, you can do it at 256-576-4977. That will put you in for Beat the Big Dog. Coming up in the next segment of the show, we're going to be joined by Justin Ferguson, and we're going to talk about a little bit of Iron Bowl with him, and more so with the rampant rumors that went nuts last night as the internet blew up last night with news that Lane Kiffin would be resigning from Ole Miss after the game, the Egg Bowl, on Friday, and that he was going to be heading to Auburn to take their job on Friday. So that was, that kind of blew up the internet last night. And everybody was going nuts thinking that was something that was going to happen. As for the game itself, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out a way that Auburn, the way they're constituted, can hang in this game. Because this is strength versus strength. You're talking about Alabama, and even though they've had some struggles defensively, they've been more against the pass than the run. Alabama only gives up 107 yards a game on the ground. They say, well, wait a minute, dog. The mobile quarterback creates a problem for Alabama, and Robbie Ashford is a mobile quarterback. Well, he better have 150 yards rushing. Because if there's no threat of pass, I think they'll be able to control him and keep him in the pocket without necessarily having to spy him. I think they could control rush, keep the rush lanes, and handle him there. But I don't know. I mean, the last 2 weeks, the rushing attack for Auburn has been incredibly consistent. I mean, both Hunter and Bigsby had 121 yards 2 games ago, and they had 100, and I think Bigsby had 110, and Hunter had 109 last week. So they've been very, very consistent. But I can't see them rolling up and having those kind of yards rushing against Alabama. Now, defensively, can they stop Alabama? Could they slow Alabama down? Well, they've been playing better defensively. But I don't know if enough to hold them in there. And that number is 21, 22, 22 and a half, as I think is the number that we're going to be using for it. So if you want to react to that, certainly you can. If you want to get in, we've had a few calls come in, but you guys don't want to play Beat the Big Dog. So if you want to come in and play Beat the Big Dog and pick these games against me and take a chance to win these tickets, you still have the opportunity to get in. You can do it at 256-576-4977. That'll put you in the deal. Grizz, there were 28 Final Four teams in the 7 divisions of high school football in the state of Alabama. You know how many of those Final Four teams are that we could call North Alabama teams? That would be 0. That would be 0. I mean, it would be 0. I mean, as bad as that sounds, it would be 0. Obviously, nothing in 7A.
Hold on, I got another one.
So it's not, Hoover and Thompson or Auburn and Thompson are going to play for the 7A championship. But it was Auburn and Central Phoenix City, Hoover and Thompson. So we're nowhere near 7A. Nothing in 6A. I mean, you look at the teams that have made it out of 6A, and Theodore and Saraland are going there. Homewood was in there, and St. Paul's was in there. But that ain't happening. It didn't happen in 5A. It's not happening. So all the way down through, it's all from Birmingham on down. And it's a really interesting concept as to why this might be happening. And a guy by the name of Kenny Moore, who is a listener to the show. Now, he's a missile engineer. So that's, we need to kind of keep that in play. He's a missile engineer. So Muscle Shoals. Is Muscle Shoals still alive? He has a pretty good theory as to why our teams don't make it. And we're going to flesh that out. He was going to come on today, but we may be able to do that tomorrow. All right, Mola is in from Gunnersville. Mola? He's going to play Beat the Big Dog.
There are rules to success, my friend. Rule number 1 is know what you know what you don't know, and know that I got to know everything you know as soon as you know it.
I don't know no Mola. Do no cough drops. I'm going to drop one of those right now. See if Mola can take us down in this deal. All right, Muscle Shoals is still available. They're still alive.
I don't know how to say this without sounding a little rude, but you're a lemon.
So 27 of the 28 teams that went to the Final Four. Muscle Shoals made it. All right, Mola, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
First time getting in the show for Mola. We got Rick. There he is. He's over there in the closet. Woo! Very excited.
Yeah.
Now, what is the Mola? Where does the Mola come from? Where does this Mola come from?
I'm a long-time Cowboy fan.
So
And,
where does it? Yeah.
I just want to say, how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
But where does the Mola Mola? I mean, Mola Mola's got to be a nickname. I mean, it can't be your name.
No, it's just something that I learned in marine biology.
All right. And all right. So you're a Cowboy fan. What about college football? Who you squeeze for in college football?
About who?
In college football, who do you squeeze for in college football?
Oh, college football? Yeah, I'm an Alabama fan.
Oh, you roll with the Tide. Okay. All right, good. All right, so you're Roll Tide.
Donahue when I was a kid.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah. Ken Donahue, head defensive coach.
Yeah, I remember Ken Donahue. All right, so here we go. We've got 6 games here. Now, you will pick, when you make your pick, you'll hear Grizz's selection first, and then you make your pick. So do you want to pick first? We want to alternate picks so that we don't pick the same game, pick the same winner every time. Do you want to pick it first on the first game or on the second game?
Second game.
All right, so I'm going to make my pick here on this game, and then you'll hear Grizz's opinion, and then you jump in and make your opinion. All right, our first game is the Turkey Day game in Dallas. I'm not going with the Turkey Day game in Detroit. I'm not going with the late game in Minnesota. I'm going with the one in Dallas. The Giants get 8.5 at the Cowboys. The Giants typically give the Cowboys fits. The Cowboys are coming off this incredible performance in this win at Minnesota, where the Giants are coming off a horrific performance. It's hard not to ride with the Cowboys. I will say, how about them Cowboys? And I'll take the Cowboys. Grizz, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with you. I'm going Cowboys here. I love the way the defense just kind of manhandled the Vikings, and I think they're gonna carry a lot of momentum going into this game.
Do I even have to ask Mola Mola? Do I even have to ask you which way you're going on this thing with the 8.5 points?
Well, I've been a season ticket holder to the Dallas Cowboys since 1989, and so let's guess which way I'm going to go. We're going to go. How about them Cowboys?
How about them? Now, so you're a season ticket holder now to the Cowboys?
Yes, sir.
How do you get over there for games or what?
About once a year. I go to one game usually.
Well, what do you do with the rest of your season tickets?
They get sold.
Wow. All right. All right, in this game, you guys are picking first. All right, Grizz, we start with you. We're going to start with Mississippi State Ag Bowl, Grizz. Mississippi State gets 2.5 at the SIP.
Hail State. Hail State. I'll have my cowbell ready. Hail State.
I remind you, it's in Oxford.
I know it's an away game. It's a rivalry game. No, I'm going Hail State.
All right. What do you think? Mola Mola. We got Mississippi State getting 2.5 at the SIP.
Man, I'm going to have to go with Hail State. We're going to go with Mississippi State.
All right, I'm jumping on the other side of you guys there. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this Lane Kiffin. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if he's really on his way out now and he's heading to Auburn. But I have ridden Ole Miss, and for the most part, done okay with it. I think that they're going to go large at home, big effort here, and get the victory. I think they'll run the ball great against State. Look, they had 700 yards last week and lost a football game. They're not going to have 700 yards and lose another football game. I just don't see it happening. All right, Grizz. Next one is the game, as they call it. Michigan gets 7.5 at Ohio State.
The game. Michigan gets 7.5 Ohio State?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Give me Michigan.
Really?
Even with a hurt running back. Let me get Michigan on that.
All right. So Mola Mola, he says he's taking Michigan, getting 7.5 at Ohio State. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Ohio State in that game.
Yeah, I'm going with Ohio State in that one too. I'll be honest with you. I think that Ohio State's just too much for Michigan. I think the way they pulled away late against Maryland was more impressive than what Michigan. I think Michigan kind of showed where their weakness is, and now if Corum isn't, look, he's not going to be 100%. No matter what he is, he's not going to be 100%. So we'll see how that one goes. All right, in this one, I'm picking first. Notre Dame gets 5.5 at USC. Notre Dame had a lobotomy or something here. I don't know what happened because they were getting beat by Marshall and Stanford and things like that. And now, here they are. Now they're getting 5.5 at USC. I don't know if USC is as good as Clemson, and Notre Dame beat them to death. But it's at USC. Look, I'm vamping here because I don't know what pick to make. I'm going to take USC. I'm going to take USC, and I'll lay to 5.5. Chris, what do you got?
I really think USC is going to win this game, but I think Notre Dame's going to, get close, and I would pick Notre Dame, but I would think that USC would want to just mollywop Notre Dame just so it looks better than obviously the loss to them beating Clemson, and possibly be in that fourth spot. So I'm going to go USC here.
I think any win over Notre Dame would be a good win for USC. All right, what do you think, Mola Mola?
I think that Notre Dame's been on a little roll lately and seem to be getting better. I think they might pull it out. I'm going to take Notre Dame.
All right, you get 5.5, so all you got to do is stay close. All right, in this one, you guys are picking first. All right, Grizz, we just talked about it with Chris Lee. Tennessee is minus 13.5 at Vanderbilt. Rivalry game there. What do you think?
Go Doors.
Can Vandy hang?
Yeah, go Doors. They might win.
They might win.
Wrong team favored.
Wrong team is favored.
Yeah, Joe Milton's awful. Joe Milton is awful. Joe Milton is a terrible quarterback. You better hope Iamaleava is what he says he is, because I'm just going to tell you right now, I think Joe Milton's a horrible quarterback, and I think it's still Vandy. I get it, but man, Vandy at home coming off the win against Florida, yeah, give it to me. Give me the points at least.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think, Mola Mola? You get 13.5 with Vandy. Is it enough?
I'm gonna have to agree with Chris and go with
nice, Chris.
With Vandy. I'll go with Vandy.
I was trying to talk you guys into picking UT, but I'm taking the Doors too. I think the Doors are going to play tough. I think they're going to keep it close, and we'll see. And by the way, Josh Heupel would not even talk about next season and what this game means for Joe Milton, because he knows he's got the Nico kid coming in, and he didn't want to. They're like, is this an audition for next year? We'll worry about next season. He's like, I don't even want to talk about it. So I don't think they believe in Joe Milton either. I think Vandy's going to hang. Vandy's not going to win the football game, but I think Vandy could hang. I think Tennessee could sleepwalk through a 10-point win there, so I'll take the points. All right, our final game is the Iron Bowl. Auburn gets 22.5 in the Iron Bowl. I'm picking first on this one. I don't know how Auburn's going to score. I really don't. I don't know how they're going to score. I know they had 41, but I think they're more the team that had 13 against Texas A&M. I know it's the Iron Bowl. It's always close. I think Alabama pulls away late and gets a big victory here. They usually bounce back from close Iron Bowls with a big Iron Bowl the next one. I'll take the Tide. I'll lay to 22.5. I wish it was 20.5. I'll lay to 22.5. What do you think, Chris?
I'm gonna have to agree with you. This feels like a 2008 Iron Bowl, 35-0. I think it's gonna be. If not, it could be a 24-0 game.
And it would still cover.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think, Mola Mola, about your Tide here? They are laying 22.5. Turn your radio down.
Go ahead.
Turn your radio down.
Roll Tide.
I didn't even have to ask him. I knew he was going there.
Roll Tide.
All right. We got, so in summation, we both like the Cowboys laying 8.5 on Turkey Day against the Giants. I have got Ole Miss. You guys both have Mississippi State, and you're getting 1.5 points. I have Ohio State. I'm laying 7.5. Mola Mola has Ohio State as well. Grizz, he went the other way. He took Michigan and took the points. I have got USC laying 5.5 to Notre Dame. Mola Mola takes Notre Dame in that one. We all like the Doors getting 13.5 at home. They might get the doors blown off them. And we all like Alabama laying 22.5 against Auburn. All right, Mola Mola. Well, thanks for getting in. It's good to get some new meat in here. And, make sure you tune in Monday to find out how this all worked out.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Appreciate it. Well, there you go. That's how it works. All right, let's get a break in here. When we come back, Justin Ferguson joins us from the Auburn Observer. And we're going to talk about all the news surrounding Auburn next, right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
College basketball, 13th ranked Auburn, a 12.5-point favorite against Bradley in Cancun tonight. After a disappointing 1-1 draw against Wales to open the World Cup, the U.S. men's national team opening as big underdogs against England. They will play Friday afternoon, the U.S. at plus 503, England minus 178, a draw at plus 304, the over-under at 2.5 goals. College football, final game of the regular season, number 8 Alabama, a 22-point home favorite against Auburn in the Iron Bowl Saturday. The Tigers can become bowl eligible if they can pull off the upset, 49 the set total. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwhiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwhiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Christmas is approaching fast. This year, don't wait until it's too late to find the perfect gift. Hurry into Bob Wallace Appliance to take advantage of our Black Friday sale, now through November 30th. We have the brands you know and trust, like Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, and GE. This holiday season, we want to thank you for buying local. Visit us in Huntsville, Florence, Coleman, and at BobWallaceAppliance.com. That's BobWallaceAppliance.com.
Hey there, folks. Head fry cook Bob Baumhauer here, and I just want to say thank you for allowing Baumhauer's Victory Grill to serve you for 40 legendary years. When I first delivered Alabama's first taste of buffalo wings back in 1981, people thought I was crazy. For the first few years, I had to give wings away. Imagine that. 40 years later, I'm still proud to serve the great people and visitors of Alabama our famous buffalo wings and much more. Here's to 40 years of legendary fun, legendary food, and many, many more.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Did you know the state's top-ranked private school is here in Huntsville? What about one of the nation's few Orton-Gillingham Academy accredited schools? At Randolph School, our experienced teachers and coaches challenge and nurture students as they prepare for college and life. Our pre-K through 12 school includes Greengate School at Randolph, serving students with dyslexia. Parents, we know that you are your child's biggest advocate, and we invite you to explore your education options. Schedule a tour at randolphschool.net.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Still not a bad day across North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 50s. A little closer to where we should be this time of year. Dropping into the upper 30s and lower 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Wednesday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Have lunch with the big dog.
Food fight!
It's the Thom Abraham Show.
Okay, this guy is a real zero. That's true.
Weekdays noon till 2 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
Segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. In North Alabama Mortgage, they have the right product to get you your refinance or get you into your new home at North Alabama Mortgage. Don't forget to even look at a house these days. You want to be pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage, so you can go out there and you can have a shot at getting yourself into that new property, because your offer looks that much more attractive when you do it with North Alabama Mortgage. All right, let me, a correction, big major correction for me, because it kind of blew up the phone and blew up my text window. I made a critical error talking about the dearth of North Alabama teams being alive in the high school playoffs. I screwed up. This cold is kicking my butt. I'm telling you right now, I'm not thinking straight. I screwed up. I was only looking at the top half of the bracket. All right, I was only looking at the top half of all of the brackets, which screwed me up. So Fife is still alive. Pisgah is still alive. They're playing each other. Muscle Shoals, of course, is still alive. They're going to play Mountain Brook, I think. Piedmont is alive. Oneonta is alive. And Sylvania is alive, which is over there, I think, on the other side of Gunnersville Lake. So those are North Alabama schools that are still alive in the Final Four of the high school playoffs. So my apologies to the fans, families, friends, coaches of those schools when I said nobody is left from North Alabama. It's a loose interpretation of North Alabama, because I generally think a little more north than that. But certainly Muscle Shoals and Fife and Pisgah and those guys, all deserve to be considered North Alabama, because they are. All right. Joining us now, Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer, and he is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Justin, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Tom?
Was better until I realized that I completely missed the bottom half of every bracket of every classification and screwed up my take that I had there about how North Alabama can't compete with with South Alabama and with the Birmingham area. But I still think that's a legit take. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to high school, they got these professional paid coaches down there. And in North Alabama, we got guys that are, getting a stipend to coach while they're teaching math class or science or whatever. And down there, they got guys making 120, 130 grand to do nothing but coach football. I think that there's a difference there, and I think that's part of the reason why it seems like the Birmingham area, the Montgomery area, and, the down in Mobile and everything, it's a dominant when it comes to the state championships.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Auburn High is going to be in the 7A state title in Jordan-Hare next week, and they've the biggest high school in the state, and it's continuing to grow, and they got a lot of resources put towards football. And I just think you see it kind of shake out. I mostly cover 7A whenever I cover high school football, so when you get into the 7A playoffs, it's usually well, the Birmingham region is probably going to sweep Huntsville region, and the Montgomery-Auburn region is going to sweep the Mobile region. So it has been really concentrated in those two regions, at least the big schools right now.
No doubt about it. All right, I don't know if you heard this. I mean, just because I want to be the fountain of misinformation on my show today, but I don't know if you heard last night. The interweb said that Lane Kiffin will resign right after the Egg Bowl, and that he is the next coach at Auburn. Kiffin is kind of denying that, and sending out some classic Kiffin tweets. But where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, this guy that's reporting this isn't exactly just some Yahoo out there that doesn't know anything. This John Sokoloff, he's got himself, his own sources and whatnot. What did you make of that when all hell broke loose last night?
Yeah, I was wondering when, just who would be the first to kind of report that this week, honestly, because that is where things are trending. Auburn has had Lane Kiffin as their number one target, for a while now. And, he was not going to do anything before the Egg Bowl. Nothing formal is going to be done before the Egg Bowl. I mean, I think everything needs to be sorted out here, over the weekend, early into next week at the latest. But, yeah, it's one of those things where, everything that I've heard and from people I trust kind of line up with, Auburn wants to make an offer to Lane Kiffin, and kind of the ball's going to be in his court. And a lot of signs point to, Ole Miss not being able to match, and Auburn, landing Lane Kiffin and him being the next head coach. Now, there's still a possibility that doesn't happen, obviously, but I think it's more likely than not that Lane's your next coach at Auburn, and it's just going to all come down to timing, I think, at this point.
Well, the interesting thing is, too, as I read reaction to a lot of those tweets, I heard, read several Auburn fans saying, there's not an Auburn fan I've talked to that wants Lane Kiffin at Auburn. Do you get that sense? I think, because I get the sense. Now, I have had some of that on my show. I got to be honest with you. I've had a few Auburn fans on my show say, what really has Lane Kiffin done? But do you're kind of connected to a lot of Auburn fans. Do you get the sense that this would not be a feel like a home run hire?
No, it would feel like a home run hire for sure. I think he is. Lane Kiffin checks a lot of boxes for what Auburn fans would love to see. His offensive, skill, his offensive play calling ability in the SEC is well documented at this point. What he did at Alabama, what he's done at Ole Miss, is excellent. And this is a team that needs life, and they need to be really competitive again on the offensive side of the ball. I think it's the fact that Lane Kiffin recruits the transfer portal probably better than anybody in the country. That is something Auburn really needs, right off the bat. And he's exciting. I mean, I think, there are fans, you're never going to be universally praised. I think, if Lane Kiffin ends up Auburn's coach, I think the majority of fans would be happy with the move for sure. It's because it's just, it's an injection of life and energy. It's his personality. It's his track record in the SEC. And I think it's kind of like a very similar version of, the last time Auburn picked off a coach from Ole Miss. It's like, well, Tommy Tuberville didn't win a ton of big games at Ole Miss, but he was at Ole Miss. And it's like, can you marry that, what he's doing there, with, more resources and more access to talent at Auburn? And that's the pitch. And I think, there's people who will have their own opinions, want to swing higher or something like that. But, man, I really believe that Lane Kiffin is the coach that checks off the most boxes if you're looking for someone who is established in this league at getting it done and can take a step up at Auburn.
The other reaction that I thought was curious was from outside the footprint, okay, from outside the SEC. And some people even preface it by saying, look, I'm not an SEC guy, but is the Auburn job really better than the Ole Miss job? This concept that the Auburn job isn't a step up from the Ole Miss job is almost comical to me. I mean, it's still... It's kind of like how Tennessee was all those years that Tennessee was down. It's still, there's still that upper echelon gigs. I think there's 5 of them. Maybe you could say 6 of them now with the expansion of the conference, and maybe there'll be more, when the conference expands again. But there's 5 or 6 jobs that are different than all the other. Look, Florida just went and got whacked, by Vanderbilt. That Vanderbilt, first time since 1988. It's still a destination kind of gig. I mean, it's a place where you can go and win a national championship. That's kind of how I feel. Auburn and Ole Miss are still not the same, right? No matter what Ole Miss does.
100%. I mean, let's just look at it. Every coach that Auburn has had, really, since Shug Jordan, has competed for an SEC title at some point, with the exception of Brian Harsin. And that Ole Miss, Ole Miss has really come on these last few years. They've had some good years and good moments, but this program is just not near the level that Auburn's is. They've never played an SEC title game. The last time they won an SEC title was in the 60s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Last time they were competitive for a title, national title, was in the 60s. There are multiple occasions against a wide variety of coaches where you've seen Auburn do that, and it's nothing against Ole Miss. It's just, what can you do at Auburn? And the history speaks for itself. You think about how Auburn has not, competed for an SEC title in the last several seasons, but heading into this year, they had a 6-game winning streak over Ole Miss. It's just very, very different. Very different what they've got between Auburn and Ole Miss. And I think if you think Ole Miss is a better job or an equitable job than Auburn, I think you're using a very short-sighted lens just in the last couple of years of college football.
Justin Ferguson with us here from the Auburn Observer, talking about this Auburn situation and what happened last night when everything went nuts over the Lane Kiffin rumors that came out. It was to a certain extent comical, how it all happened, but it wasn't something that was unexpected, I would suppose. Should there be any concern over the fact that, what has happened recently with Ole Miss and with Lane Kiffin? Of course, they got beat by Alabama, which, is there's nothing to sneeze about. I suppose there's no shame in that, getting beat by Alabama. I thought they played well in that game, played it tough, but got beat there. But then they go to Arkansas, and they're down 42-6. They get their knob wailed now over there. They have 700 yards. They run the ball for over 432 yards, which is crazy, and lose the football game. Should any of that, when you go back now and you kind of look at their season in its totality, should any of that, you say, who did they beat really this year? Should any of that matter in terms of, making an evaluation of Lane Kiffin?
I think it matters some, but I think you got to pick out, why is it, why have they struggled? And if you look at Ole Miss this season, a lot of their problems come down to their defense. And I think that's the one side of the ball for Auburn that has done really well the last several years. I think it will depend if Lane Kiffin comes to Auburn, okay, who is his defensive coordinator? Who is he bringing in? What can they do? Because Auburn's got a track record of just playing better defense on the whole than a place like Ole Miss does. And I think that's kind of a bit you put up 700 yards in a loss. You're not blaming your offense for that. And that's the kind of offensive production that Auburn would love to have. And the rushing numbers and, obviously Lane's track record with quarterbacks and, his background there, that's great. I think that would be the big question. If Auburn ends up hiring Lane Kiffin, okay, what direction does Auburn's defense go? Are they able to marry kind of the success they've had over the last really, since 2016 on the defensive side of the ball? Can they marry that with a Lane Kiffin offense? And what would Lane do? Because what Ole Miss has done on the defensive side of the ball the last couple of years, even as good as Ole Miss has been, it's just not enough. So that is a fair question, and that is going to be something that I think will have to be addressed, and a lot of eyeballs will be on that in a hypothetical year one under Lane.
Should Lane Kiffin's Twitter responses, it's news to me, and the response that he made to the guy that made the deal, saying that he had resigned and got taken a job at another TV station, but no one would confirm it. Very very Lane Kiffin like, very swarmy responses there. Should any of that be an indication that it's not happening necessarily? Would you take any of that seriously, or do you think that's just Lane being Lane and he could still do this on Friday night?
Yeah, I think you got to take into account what he's actually saying, right? If he wanted to say, no, I'm staying at Ole Miss and the future's bright here and we're going to lock it down, he could have done that a while back. For what he has said though so far has been more of, hey, I'm not, this is news to me. I'm resigning right, after the Egg Bowl and no, because I don't think any of that's confirmed that. I don't think any of it's official yet, but I think Lane's done a really good job of, making sure he doesn't give a pine box speech like he said the other day, or he doesn't pull a Nick Saban to Alabama kind of thing. So, I don't think that does it. It is interesting, though. He had been really quiet about this for weeks, and then now when things start ramping up, he kind of pokes it up a little more. It makes him a wild card. But no, I don't think it should make Auburn fans worry that he's going away from it. He can still make the decision to stay at Ole Miss, but I don't think it's going to be because of the tweets.
The tweet where he tweeted the faux letter, breaking news: John Sokoloff of CBS News in Starkville, Mississippi, plans to step down as lead anchor and head to hashtag WLOX to become their new lead. Sources say WLOX hasn't offered a job to anyone yet, so John to WLOX is happening. Story soon. Dean Blandino, of all people, Dean Blandino, right? I mean, here he is, the guy that's the referee consultant, if you will, for CBS Sports. Dean Blandino tweeted, A+ trolling. However, if he does go on to leave for Auburn, this will forever tarnish Lane Kiffin's credibility, and no one will be able to take him seriously again. I mean, that's a little bit over the top, isn't it? I mean, you think anybody's going to remember this? Yeah, nobody's going to remember that tweet.
No one's going to remember. No one's ever really held it against Nick Saban that he said he wasn't going to Alabama before he did. No one's ever really held it against Tommy Tuberville for the Pine Bot speech. Nobody really holding it against Lincoln Riley, where he was, it sounded like he was going to stay at Oklahoma, and the next morning he was off at USC. People forget that really, really easily.
Yeah, and he didn't say, okay, I'll say it, I'm not going to Auburn, like Nick Saban said about Alabama. And he didn't say they'll take me out of here in a pine box. I mean, those are much more, hardcore responses. He hasn't said anything like this.
Not at all. And I think Lane's done a really good job because he's a smart guy and he's savvy about his presence and what he says and what he puts out there. I think it's been very apparent he's said those things for a reason.
Yeah. How close to Auburn fans watched the Egg Bowl this week? I mean, is that something that you kind of want to watch and see how his team reacts to all of this stuff?
Yeah, no, I think it's 100%. People are going to keep an eye on it because I think as soon as the Egg Bowl ends on Thursday night, I think there's just going to be a clock in a lot of people's heads of, okay, all right, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? And there are people who talk about, it could happen on Friday, it could leak out on Saturday. I think it would be best for Auburn to get all of this done after the Iron Bowl, but we shall see what all shakes out because it is such interesting timing with the Egg Bowl being on Thanksgiving and Auburn playing 2 days later in the Iron Bowl. It's a completely abnormal set of circumstances that you usually don't get with coaching searches like this.
Spokane Indians. The Spokane Indians tweeted, breaking: Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin plans to step down as Rebels coach today and head to Spokane to become the ticket services coordinator for the Indians. So Lane Kiffin to Spokane is happening. Story soon. This is one of the funny parts about Twitter. I mean, I don't know what to believe anymore on Twitter, because of this whole blue check thing and who's, I don't know who's saying what anymore. But this is one of the funny things when you get something like this out there and everybody comes up with creative things that where Lane Kiffin is going.
Yeah, no, it's really humorous, and if Lane Kiffin ends up being a coach I cover, I think I'm going to enjoy the Twitter aspect of it.
Yeah, that would be good. Now, what about the concept or the thought process that this is all extremely disrespectful to Coach Caddy? Because Coach Caddy's got this team playing out of their mind. It is ironic, or maybe not, that they have – you notice that they were a team that couldn't score in the second half under Brian Harsin. They got out to a quick start and then would stumble the rest of the game. Now the team gets off to a little bit of a slower start, but they're dynamic in the second half. It's like they're making adjustments and being better in the second half in the 3 games that he has coached. But is this something that is necessarily – because I don't think – nobody really thinks Cadillac Williams is a real candidate for this gig, right?
No, I don't think. I think it would have to come to a point where you beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl on Saturday, and have some things kind of go the other way. Because I do think Lane. I do think Lane's one of those guys that this is one of those situations where I don't think Auburn's really doing a thing of like they're letting it leak out. This is a lot of this is speculation and not a whole lot of concrete stuff. So I wouldn't really call it necessarily disrespectful to Cadillac. And I think Cadillac would love to have the opportunity, but I also know that Cadillac, as you said last week, I think he could be as successful and as happy continuing on as a running backs coach and associate head coach for this job. So no, I would push back on that.
Yeah, that would be my first hire. I mean, if it were to happen,
100%.
that would be my first hire. Would be Cadillac Williams. Please stay and be assistant head coach, and he gets to talk to the team and help with motivation and all those other kind of things. So it'll be interesting to see if it shakes out that way. All right. As for the Iron Bowl itself, I'm trying to figure out a way, even at 22.5, whatever that number ends up being. I'm trying to figure out a way that Auburn can hang in this game. I know that Alabama struggles with quarterbacks that are mobile and so on and so forth, and certainly Robbie Ashford is that. But with zero passing threat, I mean literally zero passing threat, it seems like Alabama would be able to contain him, and their best thing they do defensively is defend the run. And so this is kind of a good-on-good matchup, Auburn's rushing attack against Alabama's rush defense. But there's no other answer for Auburn. I mean, give me the scenario other than a ton of mistakes by Alabama, turnovers, everything else, how Auburn is in this game late.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to have to depend on special teams plays. It's going to depend on turnovers, taking advantage of things that way. I think that's going to be key for Auburn. But yeah, I mean, I think you got to hit your spots if you're Robbie Ashford. You're going to get a few deep ball opportunities in this game. Hit them, see if you can flip the field that way. But yeah, I think the key for Auburn in this game is their defense continues to play really, really well. They run the ball, they manage the clock, and they just kind of get in a defensive, kind of rock fight with Alabama. That's how you hang around. That's how you hang around in this game. And so I think for Auburn, it's going to be like how much can Auburn's defense play really well against Alabama, especially through the air, especially what Bryce Young can do. Auburn's pass defense has really had a great season, especially here recently. So I think that's the key to this game. Make it defensive, make it low scoring, control the time of possession, and just hit your spots when you have the few opportunities to make something happen downfield. That's the key. Other than that, you can't be one-dimensional against Nick Saban. He will eat you alive doing that. So, you're going to have to be able to give you something through the air.
All right, always a pleasure. Great stuff from Justin Ferguson from the Auburn Observer. And, Ferg, have yourself a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. And, we'll talk again next week. I got to believe by the time we talk next week on Tuesday, there'll be resolution to this. I'm thinking that there'll be some resolution to this by then.
I agree with you as well. I appreciate you having me on, and y'all have a great Thanksgiving as well.
And follow the Auburn Observer for up-to-the-minute information and stories on it as it develops, because you're just going to want to keep checking back over and over again, and it's very affordable to subscribe to the Auburn Observer. All right, man. Thanks, Ferg.
Thank you.
There you go. I mean, it's a where there's smoke, there's fire thing, right? I mean, it's still got to make sense.
Yeah.
Doesn't this make sense? And I don't think that Lane Kiffin has said anything that has – I think he's parsed his words very carefully. I don't think he said anything that would preclude him or would put him in a position where he said something so positive towards staying at Ole Miss. I mean, when he was asked, about the rumors surrounding being Auburn's top target, he responded, fair question. Like I said, I love being here. I don't want to look to next year. This thing jumped on me. I don't want to look to next year already with a regular season game to play. But this is not one of those years where we're going to lose all these guys. I mean, there's nothing he's saying. There's a lot of people coming back and a lot of new guys offensively especially. So very excited about the future. So I don't know about all that stuff out there. Number one candidate stuff. Maybe if they watched the first half against Arkansas, I wouldn't be number one anymore. So he keeps talking about how much he's loved, Ole Miss and how much he loves Oxford and so on. But he's just not, quote, I just think maybe that statement might not surprise people. Just when I thought of it the other day, I don't know. I wouldn't have said it in the beginning, just living in different cities I've lived in. He's talking about how much he loves Oxford. As you guys know, here with Landry, which is his daughter, moving here, and Juice and everything. Oh, he can't take his dog with him. Just how people are here. It's been really awesome for me. It's been part of a lot of changes that have taken place personally. It just didn't happen these 2 years by chance. I think a lot of it had to do with coming here. Okay. He's still not saying anything. That would make us think that he couldn't leave.
He's sticking out 5 years, so he's the head coach at Alabama. He's sticking it out. He likes the culture at Alabama. I don't think he's going to leave for Auburn if he's got the job in, 4 or 5 years if Saban's gone?
You don't think Saban lasts 4 or 5 years?
Oh, shoot. I mean, if we're talking shorter years, I mean, why wouldn't Lane Kiffin want to stick out and hold it out? You don't think he'd be the top candidate at Alabama?
2 or 3 years. No, I don't think he would.
No? Who do you who in your opinion, before we have to go to break, who do you think would be number one candidate once Saban's gone? This is just 3 years, 4 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
If there's 3 more years, there's a lot. I would have said I thought Mario Cristobal, but he has said it's been such a grease fire down there in Miami, what has taken place over there. I still think Dabo is a thing. I still think that could happen.
Yeah, the ties. I can see that.
I mean, I still think Mama could call him home.
He's a real jerk wide receiver coach, is what I've heard.
If he's fed up with it, I still think something like that could happen. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know if that guy has been identified at this particular point in time. I don't think that guy's on the staff. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up next right here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention parents with a child diagnosed with autism or severe ADHD. A recent congressional study found dangerously high levels of toxic heavy metals like mercury, lead, and arsenic in many popular baby food brands. Brands such as Gerber, Plum Organics, Beech-Nut, Walmart, and more. Some contain toxic metals 200 times the maximum safe levels set by the FDA. Heavy metals in baby food are known to be severe neurotoxins, and exposure to them at a young age can cause lifelong brain damage and neurodevelopmental disorders like autism and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. If you fed baby food to your child and they were later diagnosed with autism, autism spectrum disorders, or ADHD, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call today for your free consultation. 800-715-2037. Don't wait. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-715-2037. That's 800-715-2037. Again, 800-715-2037.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
AVIQ. Who is
is AVIQ?
AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Touchdown, Alabama! Nolan pass inside, but he got to go to the play.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
In your turkey bowl this week, but if you do, you know where you need to go. TOC, they got the docs to help you out no matter what kind of injury you've had, whether it's a sporting injury, work injury, getting old injury, a decaying injury, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what part of the body, shoulder, elbow, wrist, foot, knee, doesn't matter. They've got a specialist for you at TOC. They can help you out with that stuff. We're going to actually have, it looks like we're having 2 turkey bowls this year. It's the time has come for us to have a turkey bowl for the kid. The turkey bowl started in my family with my young children before my sons were even born. I was having turkey bowl in the backyard in the snow in New York with my daughters when they were little girls. So now I've got grandkids that are all the way up to 14 years old, down to 4 years old. They're ready to play. I got 10 of them. They want to play in turkey bowl. There is 6 girls and 4 boys. So I think there's going to be like a JV turkey bowl of young kids before the big boys take over with the turkey bowl. It's going to be like a JV turkey bowl. That's the way it's going to work. All right, coming up next is Paul Feinbaum. And that will be followed by Taco Tuesday down at the Furniture Factory with Wes and Steve. And we'll be back tomorrow with kind of a turkey fecta for you right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.